Over the next 3 days, we're going to track the money, the miles.
That's right, we're going to break down if it's easier, more cost-effective, time-consuming, all those things, driving versus flying, and ultimately, maybe tell you which one we prefer.
I'll be flying 1,200 miles on a commercial airplane.
And I'm driving 1,200 miles by myself. All the way. With our RV. Well, I'm making my first stop like 5-6 hours in, and I will say this is one of the downsides to taking, is it just takes a while. I mean, I'm going to be on the road for at least 3 days, and there's some weather that's coming in, so it may be longer if that slows me down, and you have to stop for fuel constantly. Whereas Lauren is going to go to the airport, get on a plane, get off X amount of hours later, and she's just there. So my fuel's done. I will say too, I think one of the more interesting things I'm curious to see is if, doing it this way is cheaper and more expensive than flying. I could see it going either way. So this stop was about $140. Anyway, all right, back on the road. All right, last gas stop for the day. Time difference in flying and driving is going to be probably a big thing that Lauren and I obviously are going to differ on, because I'm 12 hours in and I'm almost to my destination for tonight, and I've had a lot of changes, so I'll update when you get there, but I'm going to go ahead and get fuel for tomorrow right now. All right, well, day 2 of our drive to Central Florida, and just a few takeaways is, one, this is one of the good things and bad things about traveling via the road or an RV versus flying is I'm still going. And we had some weather adjustments that I told you yesterday I would talk about today. So some severe weather popped up. I actually ended up leaving a little early. The downside of that is my campsite's not available in Central Florida as quickly. So that means I get to camp at a unique place that I don't really want to for a few days. So you'll see that later today and tomorrow. But with that, one of the good things about this is that, I'm at a Cracker Barrel, so this didn't really cost much. I just ran the generator overnight, and so I'm going to pop in and grab some breakfast before I head out. If you're an RVer, ask them. Just ask them. Mainly also, they know you're aware, so they don't get, upset by it or anything. 2, it's, if you're very much so the journey is part of the travel, then, and I go back and forth on this, but right now, without Lauren and without the dogs, it's a little harder. So the bonus is, though, is that you get more freedom. Like, I got to sleep in my bed and all of those things. So we'll talk about that as we go through this. But I am curious if Lauren has even started thinking about leaving or packing or anything regarding her leaving for the trip. So we are down to day 3 of our traveling to Florida thing, and one of the big differences for me and why I like and also hate this is it's you do get a chance to relax a little bit on the way. Now, flying isn't typically long enough to need to be able to relax, but I am able to cook my own food. I ran into some people from Wisconsin, so we chatted a little bit, that kind of a thing, and which is fun. I don't love that Lauren's not here, but that's just kind of a common thing. With that, it's also one of the downsides as far as getting the ability to actually travel and go and do things is this takes longer versus Lauren, and she still hasn't even left the house yet. So it kind of gives you an idea. I have one more day before I get to my final destination. That's fully on me. The schedule got all crazy, so there were some pretty severe storms where I was supposed to land on the first or halfway point driving day for second day. And so I chose to come a lot further, and I got to Florida a little sooner than I needed to. And so we're just kind of camping out here in a Love's parking lot. All right, well, this was our last stop before we actually get to our destination today. And big thanks to Lawrence and Natalie. And I will say that this is one of the perks, bonuses, whatever you want to call it, of RVing, is that you could stop and stay with friends. Got to hang out with them last night. May or may not drink too much bourbon. But so we are back on the road. And the next stop, well, it's fuel. And then Camp Margaritaville to wrap up this travel. And I'm still very curious where Lauren kind of sits in all of this stuff. And I don't know what she's done, what she hasn't done. We've talked, but not a ton. And she hasn't really filled me in on what she's working on to get ready to go. So I'm very curious to see this soon.
Now that Ryan has been on the road for about 3 days and driven through, I think, 5 states, it's time for me to get started packing. And it's also time for our favorite game. Can I fit all my stuff into a carry-on suitcase this time?
I have officially completed my version of the trip. We are here at Camp Margaritaville in Auburndale, Texas, and this is not the first time we've been here. It probably won't be the last time I've been here, but this is by far the nicest site I've had since I've been here. All in all, it went pretty good. You know, it ended up taking 4 days, which one of those was my fault, but I got to hang out with Lawrence and Natalie one night. We're going to be buddy camping with friends. Wes Miller's right over there. I'm about to go over there and say hi a little bit more. Once I get a few more things unpacked, but it's a good trip. It's just different, and I think that's the underlying thing. So I'm curious how Lauren's trip has gone. I'm going to go pick her up from the airport here in a little while, and we'll go from there.
All right, we have made it to Florida. Now, it's sunny, not warm, which was maybe my bad. I may not have packed accordingly, which is a little bit of a downside. When we had the RV, I had all my clothes, all the options, and now I had to fit everything into the carry-on. You will be glad to know I think I did put most everything in the carry-on for the first time in a very long time. So to be determined if I actually left anything back home. But getting to the airport was pretty easy. We got the dogs dropped off. Parking, I parked at the airport, and that was really easy. And I was able to just walk across and get straight through security with my TSA pre-check, like literally from the truck through security, maybe 15 minutes. So that was a good thing. Because I made it through so quickly, I went to one of the lounges we get access to through our credit cards, and that was crazy busy. I was going to show you guys around, but all you would have seen was people. So I didn't even get any like coffee or food there. I just got a little bit of work done and then went to my terminal for my flight. The flight itself, you know what an economy seat looks like. We flew in economy, nothing special. So no, I'm not going to show you guys that, but I will say something unforeseen did happen, and I didn't film it because I was afraid I was about to puke on the people next to me. We had to do something called a go around. Apparently the winds were so strong when we tried to land in Tampa that when we got close to the runway, they said there was too much variance and the pilot actually had to pull up. And we did that multiple times, and I've not done that before. So I wasn't scared, but my blood pressure kind of went up and down and gave me a really bad headache. And yeah, so that was fun. Even Ryan was like, well, I've never done that. So I like to be the first to be able to do things like that. I was also on his first flight that got diverted. I'm going to put these in the negative column for flying. But we did make it safely, and I understand that it was all in safety to get us on the ground in the safest way. So not upset, not anything like that. Just, it was a little hard. My favorite security team, which is Wes Miller, he was there to pick me up with Ryan. So that's always fun to get off the plane and have them ready to escort me back to our RV. So I am glad to be here. The flight was smooth until it wasn't, but eventually we landed safely and all is well. So, all right, time to go show you what Ryan's been through and see maybe which one we prefer. I don't think it's going to be the same.
We're back. Together again. So it's cold in Florida.
Yes, very, very, very much so. I needed a bigger suitcase for all of the clothes I should have brought.
So at the end of the day, is it better to drive the RV to Florida for the duration of our trip here, or is it better to fly to Florida? Well,
I think that's going to depend on who you talk to.
let's talk money first of all.
Okay.
So driving the RV. So typically it takes about 120 to 130-ish dollars to fill up my tank, depending on where I'm at. So I had to do that 4 times. My first initial tank plus 3 fill-ups on the way down, which is way better than with our Valor. So, with that and, food along the way and some things, I estimated that I probably spent somewhere around, I'm going to say $800, give or take a little bit, because
I would say less, probably.
then $700. We'll go $700.
You didn't eat that much.
No, well, but I got food for the rig.
That's true.
So I got $100 at the grocery store, plus I had a Cracker Barrel one night because I stayed there, and just kind of little random hodgepodge things here and there. So
We'll call it about 700 then.
But I will say, if I hadn't had left early and not have been able to stop like you guys saw at Lawrence and Natalie's house, again, thanks, I would have been down here in about 3 days.
Okay.
From the moment I left to the moment I got here. It's a little shy of that. It's like 2 days, 2 and 3/4 days, but we're going to call it 3 full days of travel by the time you get set up and acclimated.
So whereas mine, the flight was probably like $500, a little over dollars. We used points for it. So technically that cost was very little, but if you're paying out of pocket, just for the comparison purpose. But what you're not including with that is parking at the airport, which is like another $100 for the time.
We got her easier parking. You don't have to spend $100 in parking. We wanted to park at the terminal and walk across the street and not have to worry about remote shuttles and all that crap. So
he didn't really want me on a remote shuttle by myself. Anyways, not that they're unsafe. That was just a personal preference at the time. And then the other big cost, which was more than the flight, is actually taking the dogs to boarding.
Yeah.
So if both of us are going to fly somewhere, we don't leave the dogs home. We take them to boarding so they have 24/7 care. So like I say, that was more than the flight. So all in all, I was probably out $1,300 or so, but without food.
What would it have been if you didn't include the dogs? Because some people might not have dogs.
So flight about $550, parking about $100, so $650-ish.
So $650, $700.
Yeah.
She didn't have the luxury of taking food with her, minus maybe like a snack cake or something like that.
No.
But so anytime she needed to eat, which was not much because it only took 5 seconds, but you had to buy food. Like you got coffee in the morning there.
Yes.
Now you did use the lounge, but you didn't have a lot of time in the lounge.
And I actually didn't eat or drink in the lounge, but I could have.
So with that overall cost, I would say it's actually fairly negligible, only because of time, which we're going to talk about next.
So all in all, I probably have an hour or so from our house to the airport.
Yeah.
Say they're 2 hours early for security and such, and a 2-hour flight, so maybe 5 hours. So that's pretty efficient.
I can tell you, and I will say, like, I know we gave the impression that she was going to wait to get here about the same time I was. It's like 4 days later. I had to be here earlier for other things. And so if she had left on a flight we had identified for her to be here about the same time, she still would have gotten in the day after, because I can't go to the airport with the RV. So I have to drop it at the bare minimum and then go to the airport. But, 3 days versus
5 hours.
I'm going to say 6 or 7, just because you have to take the dogs. And I know that we're kind of not including the dogs, but getting to the airport, there's a little bit of downtime there. And then different people do different things. So if you're close to an airport and it's a smaller airport, like the one my parents are near in Madison, Wisconsin, you don't need to get to the airport 2 hours early. You can get to the airport 40 minutes early.
Sure. And some of you may say, well, why didn't Ryan just bring the dogs? First of all,
I wanted to.
Preference there. It wasn't really fair for him to be stuck with the dogs for the amount of time that he's here that I'm not, and he's working on some other projects, so it wasn't feasible.
The trip wasn't conducive for it. I would have loved to bring the dogs, but that means she would have had to been out the dogs for about 2 weeks, not including the middle one when she was here, when she would have been with them. And I'm running a rally next week. I end up working like anywhere between 12 and 18 hours a day. That's not fair to the dogs either.
Right.
So that's why we just chose to board them.
Okay.
So would you rather... And I will say, we've both flown to this area and we have both driven to this area with an RV. Now, you've not done that solo, you've done it with me, but you've done it multiple times. Which is your preference?
Hands down, I would drive any day.
Okay, even if you didn't have go-arounds constantly on your flight.
It's not the go-arounds, it's the unforeseen, the unexpected things keep happening.
Okay.
So
that's just your luck. That doesn't have anything to do with flying.
And that's the problem right there. No, I would rather drive.
Okay.
I like having my bed, my coffee, and my dogs when it's reasonable.
And I will say, I'd rather fly. She's not the one doing the driving. So,
True.
and I say that in terms of, I don't know that I have necessarily a strong preference. I think the trip you're trying to take dictates how you get there.
I think you're right.
And so I say that, like, there's plenty of times, last year being a great example, we were at the United Rally last year. What people didn't see was we got back to Texas, and then the next day I had to be in Central Florida.
Right.
And I normally am here this next week after the Tampa show, regardless of where we are or what's going on. So in that scenario, no, flying is the only way to do that. I can't physically move an RV or myself in a vehicle that quickly across the country.
That's true.
And so I do actually very much so prefer the just hop on a plane and get there. But I say that in terms of, for whatever luck you have flying, I have the opposite in good luck.
It is the truth.
And I will reference the video that is on the screen right now as proof, because I flew to Orlando. This was years ago. I flew on a iffy flight to Orlando, stayed there just to get to Miami on a train. I scheduled everything way too close together.
And he picked all the cheapest options.
I much as I possibly could to jump on a cruise ship. I should have missed a flight, a train, and a cruise. And none of those things happened. I actually was on everything way early.
Nope. Enter me. 13-hour, delays. Yep, that was me. Diversions. That was me. Go-arounds. That was me.
So hopefully you enjoyed this little comparison video. And if you ask why there wasn't a lot of footage of airplane stuff, go-arounds is what our response is going to be.
It was also crowded. You know what an economy flight looks like.
Also true. So thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in other videos like this one, it's right here on the screen. Check that playlist, and we'll see you next week. Bye.